Hello there, my friends. Happy Tuesday, middle of May. I hope this day finds you well. Um, I'm doing all right. It's been a beautiful week of gorgeous southern weather with warmth and rain and thunderstorms. And I got my tomatoes planted, and I've already killed a couple of plants. It's a little ahead of schedule for me. Um, but Uh, but but fingers are crossed, that I don't kill my tomato plants. It's a little different this year than it was last year. So I'm just gonna see what happens, right? Anyway, I hope you're well, and of course, let me know that you're here. I always love knowing that you're here. We are going to talk about vocal health and warm ups and things like that. And um, this is not an area of expertise for me. So I will share what I know and I'll share what I don't know. Um, and then if you know stuff, please do share it because that's why we're here. Hey, Bev, how are you? Hi, Genevieve. How's my sound? Is it okay? Can you hear me? I just, you'll let me know, right? Fingers are crossed it's all going well. I'm having my first afternoon espresso of the day. More to come, I'm sure. Um, Hi, Cindy. Good. Okay, fantastic. I'm so glad everything is good. So the topic of vocal care and warm-ups, this is an interesting one because I come, you know, to my voice as a singer first. I'm sorry, let me back that up and say, I first came to my voice as a singer. And so I was a very lazy singer. Just want to say that right off the bat, right? So I was never one I really didn't study. I can't say that I didn't study at all because there were a couple of times when I did work with some vocal coaches, but it was always very short lived, right? And that's because I'm just being honest here, because I was lazy and I never practiced. And I was also a bit of a chicken, you know. I think that I had been sort of blessed with a singing voice that was enough in and of itself. And so I didn't work hard because I could get by with what I had. And I look back on that with great regret because I think I really could have been a really great singer. Um, and I certainly now could be a better singer than I am, but age does things to us, and I have different goals in life and all that stuff. Um, so I, I'm guessing probably though that even with those few times that I did study a little bit, that I took on some of those tips and tricks. I don't even want to call them tricks. They're not tricks, techniques, right? Of learning how to breathe and how to phrase and things like that. I mean, I really think that Karen Carpenter taught me how to phrase a song. And so for that, I'm forever grateful to her spirit. God rest her soul. Um, but I do think it would be, it wouldn't be truthful, really. It wouldn't be completely honest if I said, well, I've never really had any training. I have, you know. Um, and and the reason I say all this is that it's been interesting on Facebook because um, I found a vocal coach whose name is Roger Love, Love, like the heart. And he was a protege of the quite famous vocal coach Seth Riggs in the Los Angeles area in the 70s and 80s, and I actually took a couple of lessons with Roger Love because I had thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if I could study with Seth Riggs, the coach to the stars, and vocal coaches are just like the rest of us, they're just trying to earn a living. So anyway, Seth Riggs was all full up, and so I ended up taking uh, taking a couple of lessons with Roger Love, and he was such a big personality, and I was intimidated by him, right? So I never went back, and so interesting of late, coming to find Roger Love, he just appeared, on my feed, as a vocal coach, and he's a vocal coach, and he's quite a prominent. He became, the protege that of Seth Riggs that he intended to be, and he's got quite a resume and all that stuff. But he has a really great page, and so I would encourage you to go to his page and follow him on Facebook, and I'm certain that he's on Instagram as well. Because he doesn't just talk about singing, but he talks about communicating, and he talks about using our voices, and he talks about phrasing, he talks about breathing, he talks about ums and ahs and hesitations and all of those things. And I just love following him. And there are of course some vocal coaching tips in there too. But then there's just this wonderful sort of overarching theme of how to use your voice, right? And how to care for your voice and all of that. So that's number one. That's my first recommendation, that you find Roger Love and that you follow him. And he's very cheerful and just, he is full of love, I have to say. He's true to his namesake. So I wanted to share that with you. And then, um, and then I, and then I want to say that I have learned, by virtue of doing video games and kind of destroying my voice for a period of time with video games, that warming up for such things is probably a really good idea. And I never did it. And and one of the tips that I learned from Roger Love was, because people ask the question, is it better to, why is my mail still open? I thought I closed it, but I did not. All right, I'm going to close it now. Okay. Um, should singers warm up just by singing a song or two? Or should they be doing scales and exercises, right, to warm up their voices? And Roger Love's answer to that was to do both, right? And that, because when you sing a song, it's a prescribed number of notes, and it doesn't necessarily hit the depth and breadth and height, of your range. And so that's why doing scales and doing exercises is good, because you warm up those things that are not, necessarily being used in a particular song. And then once you've kind of sufficiently warmed up your voice that way, then you go about the business of, of singing and warming up and practicing your breathing on particular songs and things like that. Um, so I thought that was kind of a good idea. And I honestly think that whatever is good for a singer is good for a voice actor. And so if I were working on a game that was going to be strenuous, or I was going to be talking for a long time, I would do singing vocal warm-ups, hands down. Um, there's also, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget his name. Um, can I find it? Oh, it was almost on the tip of my tongue. I will think of it. Um, he's a background vocalist for James Taylor. Help me, everyone. I know you know this. Um, he has a really great, I'm going to find it on my phone and share it with you. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to find it, and then I'm going to talk about it. Um, it's a great app that I'm gonna recommend to you, that you can use in your car. You can use it wherever you are. Obviously, you can use it in your house or what have you. Um, Arnold McCuller. Arnold McCuller. Um, he actually just retired. He was on the road with James Taylor for 50 years, 50 years, sang on so many of his records, starting in the 1980s. And he has an app. It's called Vocal. So if you search if you search the App Store and you search Arnold McCuller and uh, Vocal, you will find it, and it's great. It's a really great app to use to warm up your voice. So as I have dealt with this cough that I have, this persistent crazy cough that I still haven't gotten to the bottom of yet, I have learned to to do some more, vocal warm ups, trying to get myself back into singing a bit and to try to sort of, try to over. I feel like it's a weird coughing, breathing spasm that I have, and it blah blah blah. But Arnold's app was one that has been very helpful to me. So those are my thoughts about vocal warm-ups. I do have to say that with regard to just sort of the day in day out work that we do as voice actors, if we're doing narration, commercial work, things like that, things that don't take a huge chunk of our time, we're not spending hours in the booth using our voice. We're not doing audio books and things like that where long stretches of time where we're using our voices. I'm not really sure how important it is to warm up. I often will wait to record things that require some depth to my voice. I will wait until the morning and I will record first thing, like without speaking to anyone. I'll go in and record because my voice is not warmed up. And that brings a particular texture and depth to my voice that works. And I can always schedule sessions at that hour if that's the thing that any casting person found or client found that they really liked. So like anything, right? It's like it's a tool, and you use it when appropriate, and you don't use it when it's not. But when we're doing long form things where we're really taxing our voices, or if we're doing video games or animation, those things can be really taxing on your voice. And I do suggest warming up. There is I'm sure many of you have heard of or witnessed the straw technique where you vocalize, into a straw. You're blowing breath into a very tiny, like a coffee straw, or a cocktail straw, where it's a very narrow path for air to pass through. So you're really having to force air through that tiny opening, and you vocalize while you're doing it. And if your voice is tired, it it sort of balances out and brings your voice back to center, right? And it allows your vocal cords to to kind of come together, and it actually helps them rest, and it kind of centers them again. So Cindy, Vocal Ease 2 is his app. That's interesting. Mine just says vocal. So oh no, I'm sorry. It's Vocal Ease. You're correct. Vocal Ease. I don't know if it's 2 or not. He may have updated it. I've got Vocal Ease just as is, but whatever you find, like it sort of looks like that when you bring it up, unless he's updated the thing. But I think whatever he's got is going to be good. Um, so so the straw trick is a good one too. And if anybody knows of anyone who demonstrates that trick, let everybody know um, in the comments. That would be awesome. Then, um, yeah, good. Okay, Cindy, that's great. And it may it he just may have updated it, right? And so it says Vocalese too. Um, but that's the one. So that's fantastic that you found it. Hi, Lori. Hi, John. So glad you're here. Um, let's see. Uh, where was I? Um, so then, really, vocal care, right? There's vocal warm ups and all that good stuff. Uh, I see. So, who has, Genevieve, who has videos on her website? Can you clarify that? That would be awesome. Um, Unless it's Arnold McCullough. Um, Perhaps he does on his website, but I don't know if you're referring to another person, Genevieve. Just let me know. Um, so then, basic stuff, right? Stay hydrated. You can. Oh, the lady who sells the official one. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, I didn't know there was somebody who had an official. Oh my gosh, that's so great. You can use any straw. You can pick one up at a cocktail bar. But, the voice straw. Oh, that's fantastic. Just so you know, like, look at her videos. But if she's asking like $10 for a straw, I say head to your local restaurant and get yourself a straw. Anyway, so hydration is really great. I mean, like consistent daily hydration, staying hydrated is really the best thing you can do for your vocal cords, and you kind of can't do it in the moment, right? It's got to be a habit that you develop in your life so that your vocal cord, every part of you, is just kind of um, uh, you know, what do I want to say? Just like plump and juicy, and it's not dry. It's not dried up. So it's the same with your vocal cords. Like your vocal cords need hydration. Um, of course, if you're on a session, drinking tea, honey, lemon tea. I mean, that is great. And it isn't great because the honey and the lemon and the tea hit your vocal cords. They never do. Your vocal cords are just, little anatomy. Your vocal cords are at the opening to your lungs. So swallowing liquid is never going to, hit your cords. But it does warm your throat, right? And in that regard, it relaxes your muscles in your neck and your throat, and certainly inhaling the steam, right, and the warmth that goes past your vocal cords, obviously into your lungs and stuff. So staying hydrated, drinking warm liquids. Coffee is less good because it actually dehydrates you. It leaches the water from your bones. I don't know. I just know it's not very hydrating. Um, so, so of course, why do you keep doing that to me? So then there are other things, and I will post them because I don't have links right at the moment. But there are those fantastic Chinese herbal remedies that are fantastic if you're on a session where your voice is really getting kind of chewed up. Those are very soothing. Those are very soothing remedies to kind of take it in the moment. There are lozenges. There's a syrup. They make the syrup in a little individual packet. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put links in this thread, so that you can find it. It's a Chinese herbal remedy. It's super popular amongst voice actors. So there are probably a few of you who know what that is, but I will find it and I will link it. And that's always kind of nice to have around. Good if you have a cold, also, right? It's just some good Chinese herbs that are fantastic. Um, Mike Praviti, hello, my friend. Stretching is an amazing way to open up as well. That's true. Breathing, stretching, like, I, yeah, Yeah, all of that is really good stuff. Being physically limber, walking, exercising, things that expand your lungs, right? That's all, it's all, essential to our general health, and anything that's good for your general health is going to be good for your vocal health as well. So that is fantastic. Steam, yes, is a great thing to use for sure. And those are. I mean, I don't think all of us are going to be like, holding our head over a sink with, a towel over our head over a bowl of hot water, just before a session. But certainly those things are good when you are having a little trouble and you really need to kind of take care, like you know, in the moment, right? If your voice is a little bit raw in the moment, those things are good, right? And then if you sleep with a humidifier, um, that can be a great thing too if you live in a really dry climate. I now don't live in a dry climate. It's very humid here. Um, so that's those are kind of my tips for vocal health and warming up. Um, let's see, Cindy, that's hilarious that there was a straw for $100. That's some really good marketing, is what that is. But really, when I was studying with a vocal coach in Los Angeles a few years ago, she just had a box of straws, a box of a little, cocktail straws, and that's what we used. So I applaud this woman's entrepreneurial spirit, but really, a little straw is good and will work just the same. So, any questions, my friends? I'm hoping that my sound is all still good. I'm getting notices of my stream, my frame rate being too low. I never understand that kind of stuff. Um, let's see. Um, yes, I like that better too. Cocktail straws. Um, let's see. Okay, so I told you about Roger Love. I'll see if I can link him. Um, I told you about Arnold McCuller. A couple of my favorite things, and uh, that's all I know about warming up. And of course, top of the list is sleep. Sleep. Sleep is the great healer of all things. I'm a really big fan of sleep. So I'm not sure any of us could have really great vocal health if we didn't get enough sleep. So sleep, hydration, using singing vocal warm-ups is my go-to when I need to warm up for something that's difficult. Video games, animation, that kind of stuff. If I've got long form stuff where I'm going to be talking for an extended period of time, then I will do that as well. Let's see. John, I worked with a voice therapist for a while who gave me warm ups to do. It's always important to use your voice, starting slowly and easily, then working up from there. Singing works well. Yeah, 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 that's great. Yeah, jumping in to something difficult is not great. You know what? I would also say get yourself a really good ENT. Like, really, get yourself a make sure you have that person sort of on your team, if you will. Because if you get sick, if you get a sinus infection, if you get some sort of throat infection of any kind, to have an established relationship with an ENT is vital, right? There have been times where I've been, scheduled to do a session and I've had a cold and I'm losing my voice. And it's really rare, and it's not an everyday thing. It's not even that common at all. But if necessary and I can't speak, then I will go into I will go see my ENT and I will either get a shot, a steroid shot, or if I know a couple of days in advance, if I'm starting to lose my voice, let's say I know on Tuesday, like my voice is not good and I have a session on Friday, then I might get, I might get steroid pills, right, that I take. And it really, really helps. That kind of thing really helps. And those obviously are the kinds of emergency situations where you got to have a medical professional on your side, right? And then also getting to the bottom of particular vocal issues that you might have, right? A lot of times our vocal issues it can be related to sinus infections, can be related to acid reflux, things that you just wouldn't even think. Post nasal drip. Like I have allergies, but I'm not a sneezing allergy person. So I'm like, how is it that I would have, why are allergies affecting my voice when I'm not really, and he's like, because you have post nasal drip. I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah, John, I've had 3 ENTs so far. I had to look for ones that specialize in voice artists and singers. Yes. Being in Nashville, that is that I asked around. I know I have a couple of friends here actually from high school, if you can believe it, that moved here 20, 30 years ago. And they work peripherally in the music business. They represent a couple of big name country music stars, right? And I was like, "Hey, Pat, can you refer me to so and so's ENT? Yeah, let me get that name for you." So, yeah, if you can connect yourself to ENTs who specialize in vocal health, right? Singers, actors, voice actors. That is the way to go. So, yes, Lori, food allergies as well. Absolutely. So there, I think I did now give you all my tips and tricks. Um, does anybody have any other question, voiceover related today? If not, I'll let you go on your way and, to have a lovely day. Um, and I always have to, I know there's always a little bit of a lag. So I just want to, I just want to give you a minute. Cheers. Now that my coffee's cold. I drink too much coffee. Just admitting that. Hi, my name is Kay and I'm addicted to coffee. All right, my friends, it does not appear that there are any more questions, so I'm going to let you go. Um, Roger Love, Arnold McCullough, um, get yourself an ENT. Beth, I never needed to warm up my voice in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. I was lucky. It's all changed. Yeah, establish a simple vocal warm up routine early. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's true, Our physiologies change as we get older. That's just the truth of the matter. And the more we accept it, the faster we'll, you know, find a new normal and acclimate to it and take care of ourselves. So that is a good point, Beth Chaplin. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I really appreciate your contributions as well. So, if you're coming to this after the fact, please feel free to continue commenting. I will come back and post a couple of things that I promised to post in the comment thread. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next week. I don't know what the topic is, but you can ask me anything. All right, my friends, be well until next time. Ciao.